"There's a camera in your office," the little boy whispered, his voice so low it nearly disappeared into the soft buzz of the corporate lobby. Ethan Walker slowed his pace, but didn't turn right away. As the CEO of Walker Tech, he had learned to filter out distractions. Yet something about those words felt wrong. When he finally looked back, he saw a boy standing near the reception desk, no older than 8 or 9. The child wore an oversized gray hoodie, his hands tucked deep into the pockets, his eyes fixed on Ethan with a seriousness that didn't belong in a place of polished floors and expensive suits. "I'm sorry," Ethan asked calmly, though his instincts had already sharpened. The boy stepped closer and lowered his voice even more. "In your office. Someone put a camera there. It watches when you're alone." Ethan scanned the lobby. Assistants were busy with their screens. Security guards stood at their usual posts. "Where are your parents?" he asked. "My mom cleans the offices at night," the boy replied. "I wait for her sometimes. Yesterday I saw it." A cold knot formed in Ethan's chest. He had dealt with hostile competitors and sensitive negotiations, but the certainty in the boy's tone unsettled him. After a brief pause, Ethan nodded. "Show me what you saw." They entered the corner office overlooking downtown Chicago. The room was quiet, the city skyline glowing through the glass walls. The boy lifted his hand and pointed toward the smoke detector above the bookshelf. "That one's new," he said. "It wasn't there before." "At night it blinks." Ethan's heart pounded. He forced his expression to stay neutral as he reached for his phone and called his head of security, requesting a discreet inspection. Within minutes, the office filled with specialists who carefully removed the detector. Inside, they found a micro camera, wired and active. The air in the room shifted instantly. Security exchanged grim looks, and Ethan felt a wave of anger and disbelief. Someone had been watching him, private calls, confidential meetings, every moment spent alone in that office. He looked down at the boy. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lucas." Ethan placed a steady hand on the boy's shoulder. "You did the right thing," he said quietly. As Lucas nodded, Ethan understood this wasn't a simple security breach. It was the beginning of something far more dangerous. By the time night fell over Chicago, the building no longer felt like the symbol of control Ethan Walker had built over decades. What had once been familiar now seemed exposed. Entire sections of the executive floor were quietly locked down, and employees were sent home under the pretense of a routine systems upgrade. Only a small group remained, moving through hallways with tense, deliberate steps. Ethan sat in a temporary conference room, replaying the boy's words in his mind. Lucas waited nearby with a security officer, clutching a paper cup of juice. The reality was sinking in. If one camera had been hidden so easily, there could be others. A full sweep confirmed his fears. 2 more surveillance devices were discovered, in a private boardroom and an executive lounge. Each was professionally installed, transmitting encrypted data. This wasn't curiosity or sabotage. It was long-term espionage. Federal investigators were called in before dawn. By tracing the signal routes, they uncovered something far worse than an external threat. The transmissions led back through a series of shell accounts connected to Walker Tech itself. Someone on the inside had approved access, bypassed security layers, and kept it hidden for months. When the name was finally spoken in the briefing room, Ethan felt his chest tighten. It was his chief operations officer, a man he had trusted for years. Evidence piled up quickly: secret payments, off-the-books contracts, communication with a rival firm. The arrest was handled quietly, without headlines or spectacle, but the betrayal cut deep. Once the crisis stabilized, Ethan asked to see Lucas and his mother. She stood nervously in the executive lounge, clearly uncomfortable in such a setting. Ethan thanked her personally and explained how her son's honesty had protected the company from devastating loss. He arranged long-term support for them, ensuring stability they had never expected. In the weeks that followed, Ethan reshaped the company's security and culture. Independent audits, ethical oversight, and transparency became non-negotiable. On his office shelf, he placed a small drawing Lucas had given him, a tall building and a child speaking the truth. It served as a quiet reminder that sometimes The smallest voice can prevent the greatest fall.